Hello, and this is going to be a bit of a new series for me. What I'm going to do is start going through some of the professions I haven't done yet, and I'm going to go through and level them up, and what I'd like to do is go through my thought process with each profession as I level it up, go through the TSM setup, the kind of things I'm going to look out for, and basically just run through my progression in the hopes that it'll be useful for other people to be able to follow along and get started in other professions to make gold. So I'm going to start with Goldmaking here, who's my Worgen druid. He was originally a troll druid, but I did a faction transfer when I wanted to get all my characters in one place for gold making just at the end of Legion. So the main professions he has is alchemy and herbalism. So what I really want to do here is level up his alchemy. So the first thing I'd do with any character is just kind of take a look at them, take stock of where they're at, what they need to do, and start building up a list of goals. Because it's important in anything really, is to have a set of goals that you're working towards, and also to make sure that it's fun. So what I'd do in something like this is, okay, take stock of where I'm at, know where you're at, and have a think about where you want to go. So currently I'm kind of part way through BfA alchemy. I've got my alchemy up to 121 out of 175. I'm also a elixir master from the previous expansions, and then I've got herbalism up to 116 out of 175. A little bit of fishing here, no cooking or archaeology. Those would be things that I'd maybe look into in the future, certainly archaeology for the Vale of the Sands. I've literally just started in Nazjatal here, so I've done the initial quests and opened up world quests here. I did one emissary to get myself a decent chunk of reputation. I haven't done anything in Mechagon here. And then if we look at my TSM groups, I have a rough group set up so far. I've got some BfA herbs, a few different things that I've set up here, some elixirs here that I've tried before, living still, miscellaneous potions, basically bits and pieces that I've learned over time, but nothing too great. What I might do with the alchemy in this case is wipe my TSM group and start from fresh once I start getting into actually making things in current content, so I can give you an idea as to how I'd set up a basic TSM group and go through the thinking process. I'll try and share my thoughts as much as possible as I go, just to help explain what I'm doing and more importantly why I'm doing it. So I'll leave the TSM group for the moment. I happen to have 25,000 gold on me at the moment, so that's going to be my seed gold that I can buy some herbs with and get started in my alchemy. First off the bat, the first thing I can see here that I'll need to do is get my alchemy up to 150, and then because I'm level 120, then that will open up the Silas quest, which is part of the Tools of the Trade that was introduced in 8.1.5, and as far as I'm understanding, I definitely need to get hold of that because there's a chance of a buff that increases your proc rate when creating things in the future, and that's kind of like a definite way of maximizing my efficiency when it comes to alchemy. Looking at the crafting queues of what I can currently make, you can see a lot of this is all red based off of my average buy prices most likely, so in terms of what I can do at this stage, there's not a lot I can do in terms of making a profit. Perhaps the trinkets, but those will have a lower sell rate now that they're old content. So one of the things I do like to do to help get my thoughts into order is I use this online whiteboarding application called Miro. It's just miro.com. You can make a free account on there, and it's really useful for putting out all your thoughts. I use it for just like putting all the kind of different gold making ideas that I have and various things I need to work out. It's kind of like a really nice way of just pulling things from different sites and linking them together like a big mind map. So previously I've done this Alchemy Checklist. So looking at this at the moment, let's use this for the moment. Okay, so things I've done so far. So level to 120, so can do the Silas quest. Tick, done that. There we go. Okay, we've got a tick. So level to 120, so can do Silas. Done that. Unlock world quests. We've done that as well. Get the mission table started. I don't think I've started that. And in terms of the war campaign, I haven't really done a lot there on that front. Gear ups, I can do Mythic Heroic for materials for nice trinkets. I haven't quite got there yet. Optional doing the PvP brawl for marks on other characters. This could be a useful one because currently at the moment we've got Comp Stomp as the PvP brawl, so it would be really worth me doing that to get an extra about 8 marks of honour, which I can pass on to my leather worker. Do Dark Shore went up, that's probably less relevant now. Watch out for work orders on the world quest, and get revered with all factions for rank 3. So this was all the previous stuff before 8.2 came out. Level alchemy to 150 and gather herbs for materials, and then do the Silas quest. So we're probably looking at, we could probably remove a fair amount of this actually, because gearing up can be done quite easily now with benthic gear. So gather spare benthic gear. Look out for work order world quest, we'll keep that. Revered for all factions for rank 3, use it doing the emissaries, the quests and the mission table. We also need the Waveblade and Cohen. Now I haven't got flying on my main Samadan yet because I'm taking my time on it. I'm spending more time making enchants and selling loads of those at the moment, so that will come in time. What I'm making sure I do though is do the emissaries when they come up. Now there is one that's already up here for the Najatar, so I will need to do that as well. And the main thing here, we definitely need to keep, we get alchemy to 150. And this gathering herbs for mats, that's kind of just going to be an ongoing process, so we probably don't need that there. So I would say, looking at this list, leveling alchemy to 150 will be my first thing I really need to do. War campaign I'm going to leave off there for a moment actually. In fact, because these are done, I'm going to take these off now. I don't need to keep those. Then I can move my ticks out of the way. So emissaries, quest, mission table, Waveblade and Cohen rep is to get revered in all factions for rank 3. Look out for work order world quests, level alchemy to 150, and do Silas quest. So that's kind of like a simplified list of things to do. So that said, we need to have a look at what we can do here at the moment. So quests I'm going to leave out for the moment. As I said, emissary, I could do that now. It's probably worth me going through. There's one there for 5 expulsion, which would be quite easy to do, and that will also give me a skill up as well. Greater flask of the, what was that? Undertow. Oh, why am I dying? That's interesting. Curse of the Tides. Maximum health reduced by 10%, 3 minutes remaining. Curse of the Tides Dark Water. Frost damage taken every 3 seconds. Why do I have Curse of the Tides? How did I get Curse of the Tides? That's an interesting one. Holding a cursed object periodically subjected to cursed. What am I holding that's cursed? Interesting. The one thing I need to make sure I don't do is get distracted by too many squirrels, which happens to me quite a lot. So I'm going to try and stay focused on this a little bit more. I need to find out what this is. I've never heard of this. It looks like I have to sell that coin. That's going to seriously hinder my chances at surviving anything. So I need to go to Gloomseeker Yaga in Najatar. Okay, so this is the person we need to speak to. Offer skeleton hands. Okay, receive jingling stick. Okay, whatever that was, that no longer takes the curse off. Never seen that before in all my questing as Samadan. I would have had to have looked that up as well, so that's handy. Right, okay, so now we're done here. We need to, we had a work order there. That will be a good way to skill up. Flask of the Undertow. Can we even make that? Let's have a look. Flask of the Undertow. Yes, we can. It takes Akunda's Bite, which we don't have. We have everything else. A bit of each of those. So Akunda's Bite, we'll need to get those off of the auction house. Let's go have a look. Shopping search. Akunda. And hopefully this is one of the herbs we can get in a decent amount. 21 market value. That's quite expensive at the moment, but we'll take 21 of them at the moment. That way we can start making some things. And then we can at least make Flask of the Undertow. We need to get this from the mail. Let's go collect that up. We've got some expires to deal with here as well. Plus we've got some benthic stuff that I got sent through. So let's just take those, and I think I'll deal with the expires now whilst I'm here. And then we'll take that benthic stuff. because that will help gear me up. Okay, some of this needs clearing out. I'm just going to ignore that mainly. So now we can make 2 of these Flasks of the Undertow. It's going to cost me, crafting cost 1,821 to actually make these. Maybe it's better if I buy these at this stage. So 1821 is my crafting cost, although it will give me skill ups, and I do need skill ups. If we right click on this, this will tell me my crafting cost here. And the only things that I can do for skill ups at the moment are these anyway. So unless I use the transmutes, looking in terms of being efficient with my skill ups, I might as well make a couple of these as they stand. They seem to still have a decent sale rate, so maybe I can sell them on. So we'll queue up 2 of those. That way at least I can get some skill progression. There we go. Let's move this up so we can see the skills coming through. Ah, it's actually Greater Flask of the Undertow. I misread that, so we're going to have to get. We're going to have to buy those anyway. Greater Flask of the Undertow. Let's look for these. Okay, so these cost 1,600 at the moment. So let's buy 2 of those. Obviously we have limited funds here at the moment. I'm going to try and do it within those funds. That would be useful. Okay, now we can come through here and at least gain some skill here. Actually, before I do this work order, we could do with a contract for the Wave Blade as well. Just thinking this through, trying to maximize everything I do. So this is going to be quite expensive, I imagine. Contract and Cohen, yes, it's 6,300. But it's worth doing, especially if I'm going to go and get the emissaries, because I'm going to need Revered for this anyway. So we're going to invest in one of those. You can see my gold rapidly dwindling here. I actually already have one on me, interestingly. There we go. Well, we've got 2 now, so that's useful. So with the contract running, we can do this one, and we'll gain an extra alchemy plus 5 expulsum, which we'll find a useful at some point. So that's one of the world quests done already. But rather than do the world quest here at the moment, whilst I'm recording, I'm going to focus on the alchemy side of things. So I'm going to need to level up my alchemy, currently at 124. Now looking at the things I've got here, these are the things I can currently make. Let me have a look at if there's any recipes that I can't do. Now I think there's a profession trainer here somewhere that I can use. It might be 8.2 stuff only. Here you are over here, profession trainer. That's in herbalism. Well, I can at least learn anchorweed whilst I'm here. Might as well pick that up.
Speak to me if you require more.
Is there anything to do with alchemy here? Train me in alchemy. So these are all at 145 for my next rank of things. So I need to go from 124 to 145. So my next thoughts there would be, okay, how can I easily do that most cheaply? So looking at the crafts, we look at the profit here. So can I make anything that will give me a skill up that will be in a profit? Currently looking at this, not. We have these surging out, the endless tincture here. That requires Flask of the Currents, Flask of Endless Fathoms, Flask of Vast Horizon, and 5 Expulsum, which will give me an item level 300 trinket. That's not really going to sell that much at this current stage of the game, because people will be looking for much higher trinkets than that. So whilst it says a profit here, it's unlikely to sell as much as I would like it to. It looks like the flasks here are my best option, the rank 2s of all of these. Let me just double check there are no work orders back on the mainland. So we go to Galterus, look at my list here, change this list to rewards. There's nothing in there. Go to Zandalar, and there's nothing in there either. So going back to my alchemy, in terms of selling things for a profit to help me skill up, there's not a lot I can do here. So the next thing to do will be to look at what is going to cost me the least amount to make. So if I right click on this, it changes to crafting cost, and I can see the crafting cost of each of these are all about 1,800, 1,700, so they're all pretty much the same. If I was going to make any of these, I would go for the ones that have the higher sale rate, if I was going to do anything. The other thing I'm going to have to look at is the various herbs that are needed for this. So Anchorweed is required, Winter's Kiss, River Bud, Flask of the Currents needs Acunda's Bite, Sea Stalk, Anchorweed, Siren's Pollen, so a bit of everything it would seem here. So now I do have a shopping operation for some herbs at the moment. So if we just swap over to that now. So currently in this group, if we do a shopping search for these, or run a shopping scan. So looking at this, the price of some of these have gone down quite a bit from my normal average buy price. So this is promising. What I would do here is buy up as much of these as I can at the moment, just to give myself a good stock whilst I skill up. So I'm going to take the cheaper of everything. Anchorweed is quite expensive there, but I will need quite a lot of it. So let's see what we can do here. Anchorweed, 250, we can get 10 of it. Now, ideally I'll go start farming for some of this myself, but whilst we're below my average purchase price, see we're down here to 9,000 gold already. This is taking a lot of my gold. Let's take those four, that's down to 6,000. Someone looks like they're buying up all of those at 262. I can maybe get one of them. No, they've all gone. So those are all done. I'm not going to bother with anything this high because it's higher than my normal price. So we're going to take a look here at some other things I could possibly buy. Siren's Pollen, anything cheap and in reasonable quantities. Riverbird, these are 845, so it might be worth getting some star moss. Now, is there anything in decent quantities? Stacks of 20 are always useful. 200's better. Now we're really running out of gold here, so I think I was being a bit optimistic in making use of just that gold that I started with. Okay, so we've pretty much spent all our gold here now. So let's collect up our purchases. Got a load of junk here we could probably do with getting rid of. Now we also have some benthic gear that's been sent through from my main character, Samadan. We're currently at a quite reasonable item level of 368 at the moment. Let's just have a look at what we've got here. Gauntlets, girdle and leggings. Is there anything we can upgrade here? Not those. Girdle we've already done. Gauntlets we could do. We'd need to skill those up. So let's make some gauntlets. Fathom Stalker gauntlets. We've got those now. Equip, you are more likely to find strange resources related to Mardivas. Oh, that could be useful, using the lab. So the rest of this benthic stuff we'll need to pass on to my next alt, which is Earthen. So I'm going to send those on to him. So, looking at our alchemy, some of these things are green, probably not worth, even though they're quite a lot cheaper to make here. I think I'd rather go for the guaranteed skill ups here. But there's only a few I can make here. 10 of those and 10 of those according to that. I'm missing Acunda's Bite for that, and for that one, which is currently really expensive at 21 gold, so it's not worth buying those at the moment. Is that on my list actually? Let me just check that. Groups, BfA herbs. We don't have Acunda's Bite there, so we need to add that one in to the list. I didn't realise I have a benthic helm here as well. Let me just check that. We currently have a 345 helm, so we need to upgrade that one. Where's that? Fathom Stalker head cover. That sounds good. Might as well upgrade this whilst we're here. So we're up to 372 item level, which is really nice. And we've got a lovely pirate hat, which looks really nice. kind of a mix of transmog there. Doesn't quite look as good as it could do. So if we switch to the standard alchemy, we can see now we can make 10 each of these. So this is going to be a guaranteed 10 skill ups for these. Now looking at which one, we've got Endless Fathoms, which has a 0.6 sale rate, and Vast Horizon, which has a 0.3 sale rate. And looking at the profit, I make less of a loss doing the Endless Fathoms versus the Vast Horizon. Whether Endless Fathoms still sell at this stage, I'm not sure, but it's worth making these over those. So that would be my choice process here. So we're going to make those. So now I'll still need more anchor weed to be able to finish this one off. So currently at 235. Looking back at the market, let's run a shopping scan on those. So if I shift click on the anchor weed, it'll just show me anchor weed. So it's going to cost me 313 at best if I bid on those. So we could maybe bid on those 3 stacks there. See if we can get ourselves a nice deal just before the end. Unfortunately, because it's stacks of 10, I can't actually afford these at this stage. So I'm limited by my anchor weed now. Or rather, I'm limited by money.
If you find anything exotic,
so easiest way to do that is to get some more money. So Irfan has a reasonable amount of money. He's actually got 397,000 gold at the moment. So in order to help the profession along, I'm going to send 100,000 gold to Goldmaking. Now obviously not everyone's going to have that much ready cash available to them, so the other thing I would be doing in this case would be, if I couldn't buy them, I would be going out and farming them myself. But as time is of the essence, we're going to send this mail over and get started with some more things here. Okay, so let's pick up some gold. Okay, so let's get that anchor weed before it disappears. So luckily in that time, someone's actually posted another 3 on for a much more reasonable price here of 300 gold. So I'm going to buy just 2 of those, and then I'm going to bid on these. If I can get those, then that will be useful. I don't know how much that would cost me. That would cost me 21,000 to buy 50 of those at a much higher price. So that's quite a waste of money. I could afford it. Of my 95,000 gold, it would give me a reasonable amount of anchor weed to get started, but it is quite expensive. I think for the purposes of speed, I'm going to go ahead and buy this. Now we have a supply. So now in order to make a few more of these, we need quite a bit more Winter's Kiss. What I'm going to do actually is make a new profile, because I think it'll be useful to build this up as I go. We go into settings. I'm going to rename this one old so I can keep that one. Then I'm going to create a new one and call that one Goldmaking. Okay, so this is going to be a fresh new profile. Looking at this base group of that, operations we've just got the default ones at the moment. Now generally my preference is to actually delete all of these just to keep everything clean. So I'm going to go through and do that now. Because one thing I don't like to do is have a default auctioning more than anything else. But it actually makes it easier for me to look at the lists of things without having anything in there. So when I look at my groups now, I have nothing in there. So the first thing I would do is I need to make up myself a shopping group. So I'm looking out for all of these herbs, and I believe I've got a fair few of them on me at the moment. So I should be able to make this quite easily. We'll call this BfA herbs, and then I'll look for those things like Akunda's Bite, Anchor Weed, not Sea Mist Potion, Sea Stalk, Siren's Pollen, Star Moss I believe is one, and Winter's Kiss. Those are the ones that I have on me, so I'll add those in, and then we're going to give that a group operation. Let's start with a shopping operation. So we're going to create a new one here. And the shopping operation, rather than being based off DB market, we're going to base it off my average buy price. But in case there isn't a average buy price. I'm going to include DB market, so I'm going to use the first between average buy. So if it has an average buy price, use that. If it doesn't have that, use DB market. Type that in there and close the brackets off. Press enter. Okay, so that's a very basic shopping operation. I'm going to name this shopping average buy. There we go. So now when we have a look and we do a shopping search, select that group, run a shopping scan, and it will look for all of those herbs that we've got in our list, and it will show me the percentage based on my average buy price. And in that time I've forgotten which one I wanted. The Endless Fathoms is the one I wanted to make, so we need Winter's Kiss for that, and Riverbud. So let's have a look. Winter's Kiss is at my average buy price of 100%, which is 12 gold or 11.95, so that's close enough. So let's buy at least the 40. It would be tempting to get that 107. How much would that stack be? If I right click on that, change the order to be, oops, clicked on the wrong way. There we go, buy out of this, oh no, hold on, buy out per item. That's correct, okay. Then right click on that for the stack price. It's not actually useful to me. You want buy out per item there. Take the cheapest there, which is 12 gold. The next is 13, which is 107 there, 1371. So that gives me a price of 1,400 for 107. Okay, so that's useful. So we'll keep that and we'll buy those, 107. And the other thing we needed stock of was Riverbud. Now we don't have any Riverbud here. Now I'm sure I had some in my list. So what we need to do is add that into our list here. So if we do a search for Riverbud, now I have 125 in the bank but none on me, which is why I couldn't do that. So whilst I'm here, I'm going to buy them as they're cheap here at 7 gold. I'm going to buy those 6 stacks there, and then I'm going to buy 6 of these, leaving 1 as an offering to the auction house gods, and then I'm going to buy the 30 there. So now if I close these down, open this up in TSM, collect up all of our purchases. There we go. Now we can add that Riverbud into our shopping list. It's much easier to build your groups as you collect things in your bags. Saves you having to import things, and it allows you to work out what you're doing as you're doing it. It's kind of how I learn, basically. Start slow and move up as you go. So Riverbud's in there now. There may be more that I've missed, but for now those are the ones I need. So we've collected those up. Let's have a look at our alchemy now. So we can make another 11 of the Flask of Endless Fathoms. So that would get us, we need to get up to 145, which is exactly what we need here. So let's see if these stay orange as we make them. With any luck they will do. They've gone yellow now, unfortunately. So I may not quite get the skill I need here. There we go, we did get it in the end. We got into 145. So now we need to get another 5 skill points to get ourselves to 150. Let's go over to our profession trainer. So we can buy some of these now. Let's buy them all up. So now we've learnt some new things. The next thing is going to be at 150. And the greater flasks here, I'm sure those are the ones that are going to be selling more once we've got there. But that's for the future, when we actually start making some gold. Let's have a look here. What have we got? Now this one, Potion of Unbridled Fury, actually says a profit on it, which is really promising. So that requires something new, Zinnathid, gathered by players with the herbalism skill. I believe that one might be in Najatar here, because I'm sure I've seen some of that. In fact, I have 7 in my bag, so I have collected it up here whilst I've been going through. So let's add that to our list whilst we're here. So I've got our group, BfA herbs, go down to the bottom, Zinnathid. Let's add that to our list. Now we could possibly split this into 8.2 herbs or something like that. But I'm going to keep the list as it is for the moment, keep it simple, until we need to split it further. So those are the orange things we can make here. Now Mystical Cauldron is cauldron that raid members can use to gain the benefit of a flask appropriate to their class and talents. Has 30 uses and lasts for 10 minutes. That looks like it might be useful. Got no idea what the sale rate on that is. It does require hydrocore though, so I won't be able to get that very easily myself unless I start doing dungeons. Coastal Healing Potion is grey, but we do make a profit on that. Lightfoot Potion, Unveiling Eye, both in profit but grey. We could carry on with these flasks as the Endless Fathoms, but as they're green, I would rather not. Now a Tidal Alchemist Stone. What have we got here? That's a 385. It's bind on pickup, so I can't sell it, but it would be useful for myself. Increases the effect that healing does, extra versatility, and it can be used for transmutation. And that requires Tidal Core, so again I'll need to do heroic and mythic dungeons to be able to do that. So it looks like my options are these combat potions here, and looking at the sale rate of these, this one and the Abyssal Healing Potion at 0.58, very minimal profit loss there. Oh, we won the Anchorweed, excellent. And then Unbridled Fury is actually a profit here at the moment, and that requires more of this Zenithid. Now we've got 7 of 10, so let's look at the crafting cost of each of these. And so the Abyssal Healing Potion actually has a much better crafting cost compared to the others. That only requires 3 of those. So if I was going to use this for skilling up, I would definitely be going for this one first. The sale rate is pretty good as well, so let's see if we can make a few of these. We need to get ourselves some more of this Zenithid. So let's go shopping again. Right, now look at that. Someone's got stacks of 200. So they've been busy. Wow, there's quite a lot of it. That's very interesting. So it seems to be in plentiful supply. My average buy price, I'm not sure I have an average buy price, so it's defaulted to the market value, which is 49 gold at the moment. So how much would it cost me to buy one of these stacks? Let's just right click on this. So it's going to cost me 8,000 gold to get one of those stacks of 200. Well, I need to get started, so let's get going. Let's try one for 8,000 and see how we get on with that first. So let's collect up those and some extra Anchorweed, which we'll probably need as well. So now Abyssal Healing Potions, we can actually make 69 of those. Very minimal on resources here. So this is going to be great for skilling up. We're at 145, we need to get to 150 in order to be able to do the Silas quest. So let's just make 5 for now, queue those up, and we can make those 5. Hopefully give ourselves 5 skill points with that. There we go, Cultiran Master. So back to some extra potions here. So let's train on these. Superior Battle Potions, Superior Steel Skin Potions. Next level is 160 and interestingly 155 down there for a few of those things. So we can probably just increase ourselves another 5 and then have another look at what we can make. So again, we got lots of stuff here now, and some of this is showing a profit and some of this has a very nice sale rate on it as well. Unbridled Fury takes 10 Zenithid. So in terms of skilling up, it would cost a lot less if I carry on with these at 120. So I'm going to carry on making these just for skill ups at the moment. So we need another 5. So now we've got some flasks here that we can also make. These look like they're not very good in terms of profits, and I bet you they've got quite a high crafting cost. So whilst they seem lovely, right at the moment we're going to stick with the potions as they're the cheapest for skilling up. So our next point was another 5 skill points, so let's queue that up. Let's learn some more. So now that we've got things at rank 2, they're looking a lot more attractive. In fact, the healing potion is now a profit, as are some of these other things. Now in terms of crafting costs, this has gone right down to 80 gold. And it's still orange here, so it's worth carrying on here for the skill ups. So I'm going to carry on at this stage. We'll make another 5, try and get ourselves up to 175. The good thing about 8.2 and doing this profession reset, it does mean that if you started from behind, like myself, I haven't got revered in the other factions. So this way, if I just get myself up to Wayblade and Cohen revered, then I'll at least be competitive and only have to focus on one reputation. So let's carry on. So the next lot here is 170, and then the final one at 175. So did we get anything new from that? These are all rank 2 now. The superior ones are rank 2, and these are still rank 1. So looking at crafting cost, the healing potion still remains the best one for skilling up with. So let's carry on with that. We're at 165, so let's go for another 5. Queue those up. At some point I imagine this will go yellow or green, but for the moment I'll make use of it in its current state. Okay, so 170, still going well. Let's buy these up. Now things are getting expensive. And the last one at 175. Let's get these last 5. Aha, now it's gone yellow. So we've got rank 2 in all of these. I wonder where we're going to get the rank 3s from. The greater flasks are now rank 2, which is quite useful there because there's a few things we can probably do there. Oh, commanders have appeared. Let's see if we can get one of these. Let's join in. Probably go over there, can't we? Then we can hand in our emissary, which will give us a nice chunk of reputation. We've got our contract, gain extra prismatic mana pearls, artifact power, the whole works. So, there we go, a fairly successful session. We have basically taken our alchemy. Let's just finish that off with a few more abyssal healing potions. Let's queue those up. Might as well get that to 175. Not quite enough. Let's try another one. Just got to get this last 175. There we go, 175. Let's visit our trainer and get the last of the things we need.
Have you come to examine
Train me in that, get the last thing. Greater mystical cauldron. Now we have 175 in our alchemy. So with a relatively large investment of gold, about 50,000 that was in the end, we were able to get our alchemy up from about 124 up to 175. We have all the BfA recipes we need now. Obviously we need the rank 3s to come, so we've got all of these at rank 2. Now a lot of these are going to be Operation Mechagon, Waveblade Revered. For all of these, Operation Mechagon drops. That's a drop from Najitar. Quite a few of these are drops, and then these are the old ones that need reputation. And then the flasks, we need work orders for these, so I need to have to look out for these. Work order for that, that, and that. So hopefully we'll be able to get the rank 3s for those as well. Interestingly, we did have this when we started. We did have the work order for this, and if we had saved onto it, we would have got the rank 3. But as it was, we did the work order before we got here, which is a shame, but we didn't know at the time. But all in all, I'm really pleased with that. We've made a start. The next lot of things to do is to have a look at all of our groups and see where we can make a profit, see if we can start selling some of these, make some groups of some of these, see if we can get some going on that. We also need to do the Silas quest, so that's back on our list of things to do. So level alchemy to 150, tick. Waveblade and Cone reputation we did. Revered in all factions, we worked on a little bit of that. Look out for work order world quest, we've been doing that. We gathered the spare benthic gear, we've done that. So all in all, we're in a reasonable position. So next thing will be to do the Silas quest and to look at what we can do in terms of making some alchemy for profit and then build it from there. So I hope you found that useful. I'm going to continue this series, and as I go through and develop the profession further and flesh it out, and then right at the end I'll do a great big alchemy deep dive going through everything I've learnt so far. So until next time, happy gold making, and I'll see you very soon.